See what happens when I do this. Hola, mi amigos. Hi. Today I'm going to work on the MR2 Mr. Dose. If you're new to my channel and you're wondering why I'm so weird, hi, I'm Sarah, and this is my YouTube channel. I work on cars and do car things, and I have awkward jokes and innuendos hidden throughout the video, and I'm just all around kind of weird. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna work on Mr. Dose today, and I'm going to go get a new drain plug for the transmission because there wasn't one on there, I guess, when I bought the car. No mass L plug. No mass. And there's no transmission fluid in the transmission. So I'm gonna run inside the auto parts store real quick, which I'm conveniently located right in front of right now. Hash brown movie magic. I really want hash browns. I'm really hungry. Haven't had breakfast yet. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go get this stuff and then we'll commence with the video and I'll get my butt to work and stop talking. Well, I'll talk more, but I'm gonna work. Okay. Ta-da! So I've been wanting to try this Lucas transmission diff fluid for a while now. I keep seeing it on the shelf at the auto parts store and I'm like, well, I like Lucas stuff. I've used their stuff before. So I bought some of their transmission fluid to put in the MR2. So it says it's compatible with GL4 and GL5. The E53, I think that's the name of the transmission in the MR2. I believe that calls for GL4, but this says it works with GL4 and 5. If it's designed to work with GL4, I wouldn't imagine the sulfur content is gonna be too high in here because that's the main difference between GL4 and GL5 is the amount of sulfur in there because you don't want it to eat away at the brass in transmissions and differentials. It's gonna be a hot one today, a really hot one. But one of you guys sent me this thing without the hair attached to it. The hair is mine. You put it on your neck and you get it wet and it works like evaporative cooling.
Bye, off I go into the wild blue yonder. You didn't expect that one, did you? I'm off.
So this big pile of crap right here is all the parts that came with Mr. Dose. There's parts here for the 5 SFE, there's parts here for the 3S GTE, there's parts here that probably don't even go to an MR2. I have to try to decipher out of all this stuff what goes to the intake system and the intercooler piping for Mr. Dose. This is the intercooler piping that came with the car. It's made out of exhaust pipe, it's welded and not very well. It's really ratchet weld job and it's steel, it's really heavy. So I don't intend on keeping this. So just so you know, I'm putting it on here to get the car started. And then once the car runs and drives and it's fine, I'm gonna replace all this homemade intercooler piping with actual aluminum intercooler piping because this stuff is really heavy and it looks like crap. I just crawled under here to take a look at the clutch line because I'm about to knock that out, and I discovered this, a puddle. That is a coolant puddle from the heater core. So the metal line that goes up alongside the fuel tank here, you can see it right next to that nasty looking spider. There's a bracket on that greenish gold pipe, and it looks like there's a hairline crack on that metal hard pipe for the heater core, which means I would have to drop the fuel tank to repair that. So the quick fix that I'm going to do, just because I want to get this car running and I don't need heat right now because I live in Arizona and you don't ever need heat here, I'm going to bypass the heater core until we can get this thing running, and then once it's running I'll be able to drive it to a lift somewhere, get this thing up on a lift, drop the fuel tank, and repair that pipe the correct way. I pulled Forrester Gump inside because it's about to storm really hard, and if it hails I don't want to get hail damage. So, oh my god, that lightning's so crazy. Anyway, I'll get up real early tomorrow and we'll continue working on the MR2. I'm gonna lay here and watch the storm come in. Morning. Another day Another Sarah. There's a big ass bird out there. Sorry. Alright, clutch line and transmission fluid. That's what I got left. We're gonna get it done this video. First though, I need to go get some stabilizer and a couple gallons of 91 octane. So, I'm gonna take Forrester Gump to the store real quick, get some gas and some stabilizer. Gas, good. Now it's time to crawl under the car and get this clutch line on so I can get this car on the ground. Oh my God. One day I'll have a shop with a lift. One day. So up there is where this guy is gonna go. Somehow, some way, there's got to be a better way. Maybe I gotta do it from the top. All right, so I gotta get him up over here. Okay, I was all excited too. I thought I had the line routed on the right side, but it's gotta go on the other side of that brake line. Stupido. Go back home. There you go. No! It's gotta go on the other side of this one. You can see it's right here. It's gotta go on the side of this one. All right, we'll call that good. I'm not putting it back 100% under there because I know for a fact I need to drop the fuel tank. This leaking coolant line going to the heater core, it's a metal aluminum hard line, it is still leaking. So here are the pipes for the heater core. The upper one I believe is the one that has a crack in it and is leaking. So here are the two hoses, and I just used a little brass fitting and I connected the two hoses, the feed and the return, together. So now the heater core is completely bypassed. So shouldn't have to worry about any leaks here. Shouldn't. Just good enough to get the car running at least. So I'm not gonna put any of the plastic back on under the car. I'm just getting it roughly buttoned up because this thing has to go to a lift. So I gotta get this thing on a lift to drop the fuel tank. All right, so here's the deal. This little tab right here is where the line is supposed to go through. And then the line right here has these little retaining clips that hold it in place. The problem is see where the fitting is at on here? Well, in order for me to flare this correctly, it's inverted, it's done, and then it's a bubble flare on the backside. Fitting's kind of tight, but yeah, I say that's good. I need to have this fitting on here and slid back as far as it can go to be able to flare it like right here. And then to be able to hook it up to this tab, it needs to be bent after the fact right here and then right here so it'll reach this spot. So essentially I have to guess or get really good at math, which I'm not, and determine how much added length needs to be incorporated into this so that way after the two bends it will mount out flush on this tab. So I'm not going to try to make this perfect. If this car was flawless, by all means I would, but let's face it, this is not a perfect car and it never will be, at least not on my budget. I'm going to do my best at trying to get this to match up, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to do my best. left to do now is put the transmission fluid in the transmission and add some gas. And I'm gonna put some stabilizer in there. I don't know if it'll do anything. I highly doubt it will, but whatever. Then yeah, I'm gonna hook up the battery and we will see what happens when I hook up the battery. I should probably get a fire extinguisher. So if you're somewhat new to my channel, I highly suggest you go up to the link up above and check out the playlist on Mr. Dose to see what I've gone through with this car and how long it took to get him where he is at. This car has never ran since I bought it 11 months ago. So here it is. I'm so excited. The car's really clean too. It's never once ran. It's tried to start, but never ran. And after fixing the wiring harness, ripping the entire engine drivetrain out, taking out the interior, the dash, and taking all the wiring harnesses out and going through wire by wire and repairing a bunch of bad and burnt and corroded wires, hopefully now it's good. Hopefully. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna start first try. I'm a pessimist though, so. But yeah, time to hook up the battery and see what happens. Well, as you can see, I got brake lights. They shouldn't be on, but they are. That's okay. I got brake lights. Now, see what happens when I do this. Okay. Oh yeah, I have no clutch. Forgot. HVAC works, head unit works. Everything up here works. AC turns on even though there's no Freon in it. Headlights. Oh yeah, headlights work. Well, I didn't screw anything up so far at least. I don't know why the brake lights are stuck on. That's so weird. Check engine light illuminates. All right, we did make some progress. It's all back together and looks like most of the stuff is working. The brake light issue I'm not really worried about. It was like that when I bought the car, so it's probably something stupid. The fuel pump did prime, but now it's not doing anything. And check engine light illuminates, which that never worked before, so good. I don't know. I think I'm gonna end this video right here though, because it's already like 9 o'clock at night and I still gotta clean up and edit this video for you guys tomorrow. So next video on the MR2 will be electrical troubleshooting. Hopefully it's not as difficult now to troubleshoot. It's probably just something stupid like a relay or a fuse that's disconnected that I might have overlooked. Well, all right. The TT's drive shaft did arrive in the mail today, so I have that in. So next video is gonna be on the TT. So I'll see you guys soon in another video. Bye.